So, what if that spark you feel when you meet someone isn't just a metaphor? In this explainer, we're going to dive into a really fascinating idea that attraction is a literal kind of invisible electricity. It's a perspective that might just change how you think about human connection entirely.
You know, we usually talk about attraction as this big emotional mystery, right? Something that comes from the heart. But the philosophy we're looking at today asks a different question. What if it's not an emotion at all? What if attraction actually operates on principles that are more like, well, more like physics? Could it be a science we can actually understand?
Okay, so the text we're drawing from puts forward a pretty bold idea that attraction is a tangible, scientific, and yes, electrical process. This completely reframes it. It stops being just a feeling and becomes this fundamental force of nature that's actively working through all of us.
So, how in the world does this electrical science work? Well, it all starts with a core concept of duality. Think about a battery. It's got a positive end and a negative end. This theory suggests that we humans function in a very similar way, as two distinct electrical poles. This polarity is absolutely central to the whole idea. According to the source, a man's body inherently has more positive electricity, while a woman's body has a higher amount of negative attraction. Now, it's really important to see this not as a value judgment, but just as a description of two different complementary forces.
I mean, this concept is so foundational that the source text actually calls it Diamond Sutra 1. Think of it as the core law, the absolute central rule that governs this entire process of human electrical attraction. All right, so if we have a positive pole and a negative pole, the next logical question is what happens when they connect? What are the actual results when these two human currents meet? Well, the theory lays out a process that's really clear and, frankly, very beneficial.
So the whole thing unfolds in three key stages. First, the two electrical currents meet, and they basically create a circuit. This isn't just a passive thing. It's a really dynamic connection where both people benefit. And the ultimate result is total growth. The connection is said to actively develop both your physical and your mental abilities.
And that is the crucial point here. This is a symbiotic relationship. It is absolutely not a one-way street. The source really emphasizes that when these electrical currents meet, it's mutually beneficial. It fosters a kind of growth and development that's both physical and mental. It's a holistic upgrade for both people involved.
But hold on, the theory goes even deeper than just mutual benefit. It suggests that this connection makes something way more profound possible, a genuine exchange of essential traits. We're talking about an actual transfer of the very qualities that make each person who they are.
So what exactly is getting exchanged through this invisible current? It's way more than just energy or good vibes. The theory suggests it's the very essence of a person. Their inherent qualities, their patterns of action, and even their fundamental nature are all part of this incredible transfer. And that brings us to the second big principle from the text, which is called Diamond Sutra 2. And the idea here is, well, it's transformative. It says that by absorbing this shared current, the two individuals actually start to take on each other's characteristics. It's describing a deep, fundamental merging on a personality level. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds pretty abstract, pretty out there, right? But the source material takes this electrical principle and applies it directly to a very practical part of life, the search for a balanced and natural existence.
So how do you put this into practice? Well, the source connects it all to this concept of natural living. It suggests that for the average person, married life is an essential path to achieving this state. The thinking is that marriage provides that stable, long-term connection that's needed for this electrical exchange to create balance and help both people develop. And it's always important to know where these unique ideas are coming from. All the concepts we've talked about today are from the famous Hindi book Manvya Vidyut Ke Chamatkar, which translates to Miracles of Human Electricity by Yuga Rishi Pandit Sriram Sharma Acharya. And that brings our explainer to a close. We're left with a final, really thought-provoking question. Whether you interpret this whole idea of human electricity as a literal science or just a powerful metaphor, it's worth thinking about. How can you see this invisible science of connection, of balance and exchange playing out in your own life?